Hey everyone, welcome to the Horror PSA presented by Scary Nerd, and as always, we are your hosts. I'm Paul.
I'm Saul.
And I'm Angie.
The following is a public service announcement.
A group of slackers face an army of zombies. The Cuban government and media claim the living dead are dissidents revolting against the government. That's right, we watched the 2011 foreign horror film Juan of the Dead.
Yes, we did. From Cuba.
Yes,
It's
Cuban
a
film.
Cuban horror film, which was very interesting.
Yes. Well, so first impressions, what did you guys think?
I thought it was funny. It was a fun little zombie flick. I will
Yeah.
say there wasn't anything other than maybe the water spigot to the asshole that really surprised me.
Yeah.
But it was a good time. It was fun.
In the opening scene where they're on the little raft fishing or whatever, and they kill that first zombie, I was like, okay, I'm gonna kind of guess this is kind of like a Cuban, like Tucker and Dale versus zombies kind of feel
yeah.
to it. That's kind of immediately what I got with, like, you know, the lovable chubby sidekick that's kind of inept in his own
Just
ways,
wanking
like,
it all the time.
Yes.
He's
just
horny.
jerking it.
I don't know.
I got that vibe too. The Tucker and Dale, and then the Shaun of the Dead with Nick Frost and
Yeah, it was definitely the buddy kind of zombie.
Yeah.
Zombie movie.
Zombie.
Zomedy. Okay, so here's the funny thing: who did Juan and Lazaro remind you of, like physically?
I don't know, but I feel like they were dressed like poor Cuban children throughout the whole movie, like just cut off shorts and
Lazaro,
wife
none of
beater.
his clothes fit.
No,
like, his
no.
whole clothes.
Juan
don't fit.
immediately looked to me like a discount John Turturro,
Yeah,
I
I
could
could see it.
Yeah, I
The
could
face
definitely see
shape.
it.
and
yeah.
Lazaro looked like a Cuban version of Chris Pontius from Jackass.
I could get that too.
I could
you
get
know?
that, yeah.
It's their Cuban relatives.
So yeah,
There
those
you go.
as soon
The
as
Cuban
I
cousins.
Yeah, as soon as I pictured them, I'm like, okay, those are who they're gonna be for me.
Yeah, no, Lazaro, he was hilarious. I like some of the things though were hit or miss because like sometimes they took the comedy like a step too far, and I was like,
yeah,
I don't know if that's like the Cuban things, but when they started like going into just killing humans randomly, I'm like, that seems offbeat for this. Like it felt like it took it
Yeah.
a step in a different direction, and I was like, it kind of like took me out of the comedy a bit for it because I was like, I get that he went after that guy, but like when he could just kind of shrug it off, I was like, I don't know, like that's kind of. But I mean, it kind of went.
He owed him money though.
He
Yeah,
did
he
owe
owed
him
him
money, but like I guess it kind of did fit with the sleaziness of them because the whole movie is about them being like sleazy dudes.
Not just that though, but well, actually, yeah, perfect thing is because what they realize, shit, we can make money off of this.
Oh yeah, and even when the movie opens, like they're out at sea trying to fish for something. I don't even know what, and they just find a dead guy, and they just like it's nothing to them. Like they're
Yeah,
just
they're
like
like-
it's just a zombie.
They're
And
like,
they're
all right,
just
let's
like,
just not tell anybody about this.
yeah, we just won't talk about it. And at first, I thought like maybe that was a flash forward. Because it was kind of out of nowhere. Like, you just, like, it seemed like they were so okay with the zombie, you know? Like, it was just like, why aren't they more concerned that there was this dead body that was moving around?
Well, I think it was more so just to play off the way Cuba, they're not really surprised by with anything that happens.
Yeah, they did speak about Cuban issues a lot throughout this film, like the special period.
Yeah,
and,
there was a lot of mention of tough times.
Yes, and revolution or death.
This tough times that went into these tough times, and now we're in these tough times. Basically,
Yeah, so it's
is what
like
I
one
got.
thing after the
Basically,
other.
there's an economic crisis situation that led to a prolonged economic crisis, which rolled over into everyone's poor.
The
That's
thing that I found
basically it.
hilarious.
You gotta eat cats.
Yeah.
The thing that I found hilarious is once all the events started rolling out and you see the news and they started blaming everything on the U.S. government.
On the U.S., yeah. It's like
They
Cuba
had
has survived another attempt by the U.S. government.
the U.S. sent spies in
Yeah.
here. They're the ones who sent in, what is it? What do they call them?
Dissidents.
Dissidents.
Yes.
The dissidents from the United States
Who
that are
are-
doing all this.
They're in cahoots.
But the thing that I found more funny than anything is once everything started rolling along and you see the elderly woman's husband dead.
Oh, yeah.
she's
I
like-
loved the elderly old lady. She was the best.
The thing that cracked me up was when he turns into a zombie, they have no idea, and they're like, he's a vampire. He's a
Oh, yeah.
vampire."
When they
Like,
start going
maybe
through
a
it.
vampire? They're like,
He's
yeah,
possessed.
No clue. Like, apparently, they don't have zombie movies in Cuba.
Yeah, I love that interaction though because they think it's a vampire, so they tried staking it through the heart 4 times.
Yeah, they do the possessed thing so that they get
And
a
then
cross
they think
and
that-
all
But did
that.
any of those actually go in his heart? I feel like even after
I
all
know.
4 of those, I'm like, but his heart's right there.
I know.
But
I was like, it
no.
looks like nipples. Like,
The thing
Like,
that was
you're not
funny
even
too is
getting-
what they thought about silver. Like, well, we
Yeah.
need silver. We need silver bullets. I'm like, where do you have silver and where do you have a fucking gun, you idiot?
We don't have a gun. We don't have silver. We have none of these things. So.
And when they thought of the possession, too, he just kept yelling out random bullshit. And he's like, do you know any sort of prayers? Like, no.
Do you? This is what I got. I like when they're at the meeting. Like, they're just there for the... I don't even know. Was it like a community meeting, a revolution meeting?
I don't know. It was definitely like a like community outreach thing, but I don't know. Like it was funny that they did meet there just because it's like, all right, we look like we're doing this, but we're actually doing our own business.
That's what I viewed it as, is because they'll get the tips off of what they were going on, because they said, oh, there's been 8 car stereos that have been stolen. They're like, okay, we got to do something else to take away.
Oh yeah, and they all point to China.
Because they're like, okay, that to them gave them their tips. Okay, they're noticing this, which means we got to switch something else up so we can start doing this now.
Yep.
So I think that to them, because of testament to what they were, I viewed it as, okay, let's get a little intel on what everybody's aware of so we can go somewhere else with it.
Yeah, I just thought it was funny because they're like, why are we here? I was like, it's tradition. We just go here. I don't know. This is just where we meet. Like, we get a good view of everybody's neighbors, too, because Juan is very involved in his building.
He's active in the community.
Yes,
we'll put it
he's
that
very
way.
active in the community. He's got a lesbian next-door neighbor.
Sexually.
Yes.
He is very sexually active.
Yes.
He's got a daughter off with a baby mama somewhere in Spain, and he's boinking his next door neighbor's wife. I don't remember her name.
I don't remember her name either. But
they don't think they ever said her name.
No, but yeah, he just it's so funny because it makes it look like he's gonna commit suicide.
Yeah.
Like,
and then he just jumps down into
he's a man on the edge.
Yeah, he just jumps down into the little balcony.
The little boy in the beginning of the movie was like, my dad's better than you.
It's like, your dad's a sodomite.
Yes, and he's like, what does that mean? He's like, oh, it's just a chemical imbalance. Now, here's the one thing I do got to say about the movie. Even though it was in Spanish, and I could not pick up on that dialect of Spanish because it was Cuban, it was way too different for me to even
Paul's
do that.
dad said the same thing. He's like, they're speaking some Spanish, but it's not all Spanish. And I'm wondering if it's like a mix of Portuguese in there, too.
No, it was Spanish, but the way it was is, obviously, I don't speak Cuban Spanish.
Yeah.
So they have different terms. So think of it as if you don't speak UK English.
Yeah.
Or different types of that stuff. So you would be there, you would get the gist of it, but you'd be like, okay, what? You just kind of, it was one of those things.
There is a lot of stuff that, like, even with the subtitles, I'm like, that's not what they said.
Yeah.
Yeah, and some of the subtitles, I'm like, you're getting to, like, that's not what they meant to say. Like, it's like, fuck your mother's heart or something like that. I'm like, there's got to be a better translation for whatever that was. Because I know a lot of, like, Spanish things have stuff like that, and they're meant to mean something, but when you break them down in those translations, it doesn't mean the same.
Because, that's the one thing I thought, like, okay, it's a Spanish movie. I really don't have to read subtitles, but, like, the first 10 minutes, I'm like, okay, I'm going to have to read the subtitles. Because I know, like I said, I know they're speaking Spanish, but this version of Spanish, I don't know.
Yeah.
I think we should just normalize fuck your mother's heart.
Fuck your mother's heart. Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty good one. I also like
or
the
your
friend.
sister. Your sister has a dick.
Your sister has a dick is a good one. So with the whole reading of subtitles, I was trying to pay attention and read at the same time, but California was Lazaro's son. Yes. Yeah. Okay. Even though they looked nothing alike, I'm pretty sure California was way taller than Lazaro was.
I'm like, what was that then? Because Lazaro was just a horny, like, sidekick dude.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm like, how did you get anyone knocked up to make California? Who's tall and good looking
blonde
guy. And like, and I think I'm not positive, but I think his angle was just stealing from tourist women and seducing and stealing things from them and just kind of that was his racket, right? So I'm like, who did you knock up to get this kid? Because there's no way that on your own, like.
Because he's always jerking it, and when he's not jerking it, he's telling people he's attracted to that he jerked it. Like,
when he told me that, I had to touch myself.
I touched myself. Like, no, honey, that's not.
Why is that sexy when women say it? Huh?
I don't know, dudes. Why is it sexy when women say it? It doesn't go reverse for us.
Wait, who sang the song? When I think about you, I touch myself.
But was she trying to be sexy, or was she just trying to say that this is what I'm doing?
Well, the song makes it seem like she's doing it in a sexy manner, but I think if anyone ever like, I thought about you last night and I touched myself.
Yeah, see,
I think that's creepy.
And it's got to be into context, no matter what. Like, if you're in the mood and you're in the moment and y'all are, like, dirty talking, fine. You know, like,
So
we're down for that. But if somebody just,
the-
like, think if a librarian walked up to you.
If
and
a
was
librarian?
Hey,
what does she look like?
Last
First
night
of
I
all,
touched myself
Yes.
and I thought of
Are we thinking
How
librarian
old of a
like
librarian is
Ghostbusters
she?
librarian?
Yes.
like how old is she? Come on, I mean,
She's
like,
old.
Is she like a new librarian in the 20s?
Okay,
mid-20s?
apparently y'all have a librarian fetish. Okay, wrong.
just saying.
Wrong example.
Hey, librarians run the gamut from young to old.
They
man.
do.
I mean,
There are a
you
lot of
gotta-
librarians out
You
there.
want to throw this out there, you got to specify what this lady looks like. This fictional touch myself lady.
But speaking of old ladies, I loved the old lady in this one when he's like trying to get her out of the elevator that doesn't work, and she's like, "Don't take advantage of me.
Yes.
Don't touch me."
Don't
Yes.
touch my nalgas. See,
He pushes her
nalgas
out,
is
yeah.
the same. I heard that.
Yeah.
Pushes her out. He's like, "Did you smack my nalgas?"
Yeah, there were a couple
Couldn't
ones
help
where
myself.
I could catch it, but I was like, I don't know. Because like you were saying, it was sometimes even when I do know the language, I'll read the subtitles and I'm like, that's not right.
Yeah.
Like,
See, even if I do know the language, I'll read the subtitles just to see how like different it is in their
Yeah.
translation between what they're actually saying.
Yeah.
yeah.
Because a lot of it doesn't translate well. It's like you could have done a
doesn't
better.
really.
You could have done a better job about it, especially if you speak that language. Because I've seen movies with that the spoken language is Spanish and it's Mexico Spanish, and when you read the subtitles, like, okay, that's not at all what they meant.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
we watched a thing called Reality Z from Brazil. And the English subtitles did not match the English dubbed version. So I was like, what is the real
So it
words
was-
then?
yeah,
Is
so
I
it was
need to
definitely
know.
like, oh, look at this. So you get the gist of it. So any foreign movie that you watch with their subtitles, you're getting the gist of what they're saying.
Yeah.
You're not getting what they're saying.
Yeah, because we watched it with subtitles and then we went back and watched it with the dub. And I was just like, I want to know what they're really saying then. I need to learn Portuguese.
No one needs to learn Portuguese.
Portuguese. Oh, but I like and the friend, when he's talking to his son about like hanging out in baseball and stuff, like he's just got his balls out.
balls hanging out.
Like his son is like, oh my God. I was like, tell your
You
dad to
know,
put their ball away,
okay,
man. Like, that's what
okay.
you got to do.
Anyone that ever wears tiny shorts like that's not like a child, right?
No.
If you're not like a child or an athlete, I'm like,
Right?
I automatically think like there's something pervy about you.
Yes. Like,
Yes.
even if you're a chick, like, we still got lips, man. You're going to be like out there talking to the world and something. Like, just get longer shorts.
My mom had an uncle that wore shorts
Uh-oh.
like that
Oh,
all the
no.
time.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
And every time we'd go there, I'm like, and he'd always be watching MTV. Like, they were old people, right? No, they were old people.
So,
right?
like, the old man from Road
Yes.
Trip?
Which from what Road Trip?
What do you want me to do?
Okay,
Cut it
yeah,
off?
yeah, like that guy, but like yeah, but in the Lazaro shorts, and he'd always be on the couch watching MTV, and I'm
With
like,
a boner?
Well, I don't know if he had a boner. I didn't go in there. I'm like, I'm not going to.
I'm not going in there. Not going in there. Staying away.
I'm gonna go play outside where people can
I'll
see
go.
me.
I'll go sit in the cookie
See,
room.
even as a kid too, I couldn't wear those stupid little nut hugger shorts. I'm like, no,
No.
they're not comfortable.
No, when we were kids, like the suction club clothing was all the
Yes.
rage. Like they used to stuff us in the weirdest clothes that were like brightly colored for some reason.
I
as
never
well.
got chicks like a bodysuit thing.
I never did
Like-
either. Like you literally had to take the whole thing off to pee.
Yeah, and I'm like, because like my mom would dress my sisters, and I'm like, okay, but what if you gotta pee? You gotta unsnap those things. Like that's the dumbest
It's
thing.
the
ever.
dumbest thing. The dumbest thing. Like, yeah. And some of the things like had things that went around your feet, so your pants attached all the way
Oh,
down
you
all
mean, like,
day.
Yeah.
the under the foot, the little
Yeah.
strappy things.
Like what the fuck was that? Anyway,
Yes,
back to Juana.
yes. Welcome back to 90s fashion.
But yeah, I totally get what you're saying. I never understood the tight clothes of our youth.
No.
Like, why are you making me a child who has chub? Because all kids
Yes.
have chub because they're growing.
Yes.
Like, don't shove them in tiny clothes. That's just cruel.
Well, see, that's what I'm saying. Like, they dressed like they were just poor, like, street children. Because even the
They
shots in the
did, yeah.
beginning, like, one specifically to me, because I'm like, cut off jean shorts,
And a tank top.
cut
yeah.
off jorts and a wife beater, basically, and like
Chucks.
the black chucks, yeah. So I'm like, in the opening scenes when they're just walking back to their apartment or whatever, and they show like those kids, I'm like, those kids are dressed exactly the same.
Exactly the
as
same,
me.
yeah.
Like, you guys are just like street children. Like,
Oh, I love how the big guy just faints throughout the whole fucking thing.
El Primo.
Yeah,
he
El Primo.
cracked me up because obviously you start seeing them. Okay, they have a little group,
All right.
and you think, okay,
yeah, they're all cons and they've got a muscle, right?
they
Yeah.
have their muscle. And the funny thing that I found was, okay, the muscle cannot stand the sight of blood.
I know,
because he
I
faces-
I know
Loved it.
he was almost like the least like productive member
Yep.
of their whole thing. Like the only time like he really did anything was in the beginning shots before they had that meeting, and Juan's looking through the telescope, and they're like he's like picks that one dude who's
Yeah.
like shaking him because they're trying
Yeah.
to probably he owes them money or whatever. I mean you're assuming, and it's like other than that it was kind of just the random fight scenes that he had where
He was
Chino
blindfolded,
just,
yeah.
like, like kick north and like all that shit. Like,
360.
Yes.
I loved it though. I loved all their little fight scenes. So ridiculous. There's one scene where Juan like kung fu's up over the zombies' heads,
Oh,
like
yeah.
where he runs. I'm like, what are you doing?
yeah, he has that thing. He throws the ore and then he runs and like walks on their heads of like 5 of them. I thought he was gonna run and then catch the ore and then keep fighting. but-
Yeah.
They did get kind of creative with some of their kills. Like when one, because he goes to find his daughter, who he has a problematic relationship with.
Surprise,
It's
surprise.
Yeah.
a Cuban zombie film set against the backstory of a father-daughter trying to rekindle
Yes.
their family relationship.
And she's just visiting, right? Like she's just
That's
there
what
to
I got,
visit
yeah.
because she
Was
lived with
she?
Spain and with her mom.
She
is
lived,
what they
yeah.
said.
It said that she was living in Spain, but they were going to start over and move to the U.S. now.
In Miami or
Yeah.
something, yeah.
Hmm.
But mother-in-law does not
Approve.
dig Juan at all.
Okay, well, Juan's like 50 and dresses like a street child,
Yes.
He does. I did go to school with a lot of kids that dressed like that in high school,
like street
that,
children.
like street children. Like that's the white kid like ensemble. in
Okay,
high
so
school
it's
is
either, so
Chucks,
if you're in
jean
Cuba,
shorts.
you're a street children.
apparently.
If you're in Iowa, you're just a regular white dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I love how when they're trying to carry. Okay, well, let's go back to the old man scene. When they kill the old man, inadvertently killing the old lady because the harpoon.
Which
Fucking
happens-
Lazaro just
I know,
harpooning
like,
everyone in this
that
movie.
that was the second time that you accidentally shot them because I don't think he intended to shoot the zombie.
No,
the
he did
first
not.
Time,
No.
So, yeah. After that, I'm like, don't let him handle guns.
No.
They
But
even
no.
said that, like, after they accidentally killed the old lady by going through the old man, he's like, I'm not letting you, I don't trust you with that harpoon
Yeah,
anymore.
never again. And then they're trying to take the elevator to get rid of the bodies, and the old lady starts waking up, and they just fucking like stomp her to death. They stomp her just the top half because they cut her in half with the elevator that
A
doesn't work.
lot of the running gags had me because when they throw the body into the dumpster and they have to keep opening and closing,
Yeah.
opening and closing.
That reminded me a lot of in Shaun of the Dead when they're hitting the bar owner.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
back and forth
with
hitting
the
him to
music,
the
yeah.
beat,
Mhm.
It had those comedic moments that I thought did well, but some of them, yeah, like you're saying, some of them just didn't hit. But I like that one though.
Yeah, that one was good. I liked when his upstairs neighbor's girlfriend falls off the building,
Yeah.
and they go up to see her, the lesbian, and he goes, "Come with me if you want to live."
I love the Terminator.
Yeah, there were a lot of quotes. And I love in that scene that Lazaro was just like, oh, thank God.
Yeah, and he's literally just staring at her.
He
tits
just
the
goes
whole
in and
time.
he's like, mm-hmm,
Yep.
mm-hmm.
He's just looking at
I
her.
believe you.
"Yeah, come with
Come
me.
with me if you want to live.
I love how the government calls for a big demonstration.
Yeah.
See,
They're
that
like,
they-
"Come down with your flags, with your demonstrations." I'm like, what are you
I
doing?
don't know much about Cuban government or what they've been through as people or whatever, but just knowing how stupid governments are, or, around the fucking world,
Yeah.
it wouldn't be a surprise to me if they're like, no, everything's fine. We're gonna have a big parade today, and
Yes.
we're just, Cuba, hey,
Yeah, and I love it because they don't go. They just go from
Yeah, they're like,
afar.
"We're not
They watch
fucking
from
going."
afar, and
Yeah.
they see people like they're just getting eaten in this crowd as they're waving
Well,
their
see,
flags and shit. I'm like,
I
that would
think-
happen.
See, I think that speaks to like Juan's, just like Juan and their whole ragtag group of con people that are just, it speaks to them like as being survivors, Like,
Yeah.
they're like,
Yeah.
all right, this is not going to work out good no matter. We're going to watch it from up here and we're going to be safe. It's like, they've lived in this, they lived in Cuba and they've gone through stuff, as he mentions the whole time, Angola, the special period and all that stuff. So they know how to survive. And I think that's why they were so comfortable and like, okay, we know how to navigate this shit. It's zombies now.
It's
What's
like
the
we've
difference?
seen this before. It's like it's like the same story. Like when they go through the end goal, it's like, okay, we saw this, so this is what's going to happen. They're like, okay, we just got to wade this. We just got to weather the storm.
We've been through food insecurity before.
We're all going to be coming out of that. Like, listen, bitch, I've lived through the 2008 housing crisis. I've been through a financial crisis. I've been through COVID.
I love how though
me.
when they're up top on the building and they are looking on at what's happening with this little parade thing and all, you see the zombies starting to eat everybody. I'm like, well, those dissidents are actually pretty well fed. It doesn't look like they've gone on any sort of hunger strike.
Oh, I know. I love how they keep calling them dissidents like throughout the whole movie until the end, basically. But he goes to find his daughter after, because I don't know why they go towards the city center, but all of a
because
sudden
they saw the I think it was the news report, because they're like, Juan, you need to see this, and the news reporter dude dies.
No, that's later.
Was it later?
Yeah, that's way later. So I don't know why they head towards the city center there, but they do. And then they see the big crowd of the demonstration people running away from it. And like there's zombies intermixed in there. And Juan's just like, I have to go.
It's because they're like, I think it was because they're like, okay, back to normal. Like this is going on. So they don't think anything major is happening. It's like, it's just a dissidence. Like we still got to do our normal cons. Because they run up on the California kid. And he's
stealing glasses,
and they're like yelling at him because he's stealing stuff from a zombie, and they yell. I was like, "What are you doing?"
I know. I love how he yells back. He's like, "Can't you see a man's working?"
Yes.
Like, leave me alone.
He had like 3 cameras, so he was like,
"I'm
gonna be rich." Look at this.
Then Juan goes to find his daughter, and you get a great just street zombie scene. Like everything's torn apart, everybody's getting eaten. You hear the Wilhelm scream.
Yes.
Get that a few times.
Why didn't he kill the mother-in-law?
I don't know. He did just kind of leave her. Maybe he just didn't want to deal with it.
I think so.
I don't know.
I mean, it was still kind of new. He hadn't been killing a lot of zombies yet.
I would have. I don't know. I'd probably, if the zombie outbreak happened, Saul, would you kill your mother-in-law?
Well, I'd have to get to Oregon.
Okay, but I'm not saying that. Let's not talk about parameters. All right, it's just
if your mother-in-law was a zombie in front of you.
Yeah.
In front of me.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be a hard decision.
If she's a zombie in front of you?
Still, though, it'd still be... Guys, I know she's trying to eat me.
That ain't no hard decision.
That's not a hard decision,
Saul,
Saul.
I'd take you out, Paul. I would take you out. And if y'all wouldn't take me out, that's me.
Split decision.
It is. That's a go.
That's a
zombie.
that's a 2-second, like, hey, turn around real quick. Boom. Done.
Sorry.
That's what you tell Kim. Like, hey, look over there real quick. Done.
Look at the flowers. Yeah, look at the flowers. I love how he tells his daughter that California has herpes.
Oh, I love that.
It's herpes.
Like, stay away from him. He's like, he's a good guy, but stay away from him. He has herpes.
I've done that before to people. I don't have a daughter.
Haven't we all?
I don't have a daughter, but I feel like, I would say he has herpes.
Herpes. He has the herpes.
That's the other thing that was funny, too, when he finds out and he gets mad.
I have what?
And when they're at the bus stop, he's like, everybody raise their hand here who doesn't have herpes.
Oh, I know. Lazara's like, it's not that bad, son.
Okay, let's see.
Yeah, like, you're the only one with herpes, son. Oh, so again, who did he lay that made a baby with him? Who was like, yeah, this dude.
He weaseled his way in somewhere. Because even with the lesbian Sarah, she was like, we're going to go to America and start a new life.
Well, yeah, after they stole the boat. Yeah, they stole Juan's boat.
You and me, Lazaro. And his lawn chair. So
yes.
Fucking bastards.
I love what happens when they get to when he gets the little raft.
Oh, yeah. And
she says the whole thing, we're starting a new life, and they're like, we're all heading for it, and then
she falls off the boat.
She falls off the boat, and they have no idea where she is, and you see her spinning around in the water.
You see the Jaws motions in the back, where she's just getting thrown about.
My only issue is this movie is the terrible CGI.
Oh, the horrible CGI.
And I know this was like an independent film, and I know it was probably like low budget.
Yeah.
But some of the CGI, I'm like, you couldn't have like done something else to shown that without having this horrible CGI.
I did like the idea of having zombies just walking the ocean floor. I thought that was kind of... But they would float, wouldn't they?
Yeah, that's what I'm asking.
I don't know. Would they float if they have no air in their lungs?
But what's holding them down? What's weighing them down?
Yeah.
It's a movie, so the currents, that's what it is.
Maybe it's just the water. Maybe because they don't breathe in and out, maybe just the water fills everything.
If they're full of water, then how can they ever get out? Then they just never get out if they're full of water.
Unless they walk to America or
you know what I'm saying? But if they, I I don't know. I guess if you're on the floor, you have to walk up.
Yeah.
I don't know how it works. See, again, we need a medical examiner.
We do.
Somebody
but
get Dr. Bottom on the phone.
Juan and his ragtag decide they're going to start a new business during this new difficult period in Cuba.
Because they got to find a way.
I mean, they've done it every other difficult period in Cuba. Might as
well,
well
I find it funny that,
keep on going.
that his line to his daughter is like, it's Cuba, that's what we do.
Yeah,
Yes.
like we just
There's
figure out a
trouble,
way
we
to survive.
We figure out a way to make money off of it.
Yep. Ugh. I
And
love
Mr.
how when he starts to train people, he's
yeah.
like, we're going to call them hares and turtles. Tortugas.
Yes.
They are the tortugas.
And you got to love... What is it? The funny thing was, too, is like when they kill one of the zombies with the throwing star.
Oh,
and
yeah.
old lady,
The
she's
grandma.
Like, yeah, like, you killed my grandson. He's like, I told you. Like, don't get the zombies from here. It's like, we ran out of them. They're getting harder to catch.
It's hard. It's this side of town. What do you want from us? The Spaniards. I love apparently the Spaniards are freaky.
Yes.
Yeah, if you ask a Cuban, then I guess it's
Apparently, Cubans are not fond of the Spaniards. When they go to help the old lady out, and they get like
China.
that sex party that just comes out of the upstairs apartment.
I love what China does, though, because they're like, okay, how are we going to play this? It's like, we got to make little noise as possible. We can't let them know that we're here. And she sees a bug on the wall and screams.
That was a big roach, though.
Yes.
I mean, that was a big roach for just being out in the day, not afraid of people. That means it's there all the time.
And again, the other part of the comedy that made it great was the fact that they're like, shit, how possibly much worse can this get?
And then the fucking
then the
power,
power
goes
goes out.
Yep. That's
Well,
when you
you
get the
had
fuck
to
your
ask.
mother's heart.
Mm-hmm.
See, this is what happens when you ask, well, what else could go wrong?
Yeah.
When you ask those questions like that, then the world, the universe, karma, whatever it is, it shows you how it can get worse.
It does,
And
yeah.
Juan, being the con man that he is, like, I'm not fucking leaving without my money.
Yep,
You gotta
keep
search this
looking.
place.
Well, she's not going to be using it anymore, so what's the difference?
Yeah.
See, that's the thing. They should have raided the liquor cabinet, the pantry, and,
Mm-hmm.
whatever cash they had on hand, I guess.
Yeah.
The other thing the scene that Kim was like, that's wrong, but I couldn't stop laughing
The old
was
man.
with the old man in the wheelchair.
Yeah. When they're stealing bottles of
they're
wine.
like,
Was it bottles of wine or vodka?
I'm pretty sure that was rum.
Rum. Okay.
I'm going to assume that was rum.
And they come back with a wheelchair full of it. And they're
Yeah.
like, what? We can't help him anymore. There's no saving him.
So the old man died, and then
We had to
then
leave
the
him.
zombies. Yeah, we had to leave him, and he died. Not necessarily in that order.
And you see the background of the zombies eating them.
They're
like,
just eating
oh.
them. Yep. And then so they're standing at a bus stop waiting for the bus. I was like, why would the bus still be running?
Well, the
Well,
government
yeah.
wants you to think that everything's just going as normal and
even
everything's
they-
fine.
Yes.
And even they say, too, is like, oh, we can rely on good old public transportation.
Yep. And then the bus rolls by past them, and it's just a free for all of zombies on the bus.
Like, well, I guess we're walking.
I love though when the army guys show up and they're just like, take off your clothes, and Lazar's like, oh, okay, and just strips all the
Yeah,
way
it's
down
getting
before
naked.
anybody else is even naked. Like, he's just like, okay, on command, I strip. That's just what happens. But hey, bravo to the army dudes, because that's what you do
Yeah.
That is what you need
in
to do
the zombie
in
apocalypse.
every zombie movie, apocalypse, anything that you have. Like, all right, you want to come be a part of our community? Get naked.
Get
and you need to
naked.
look and make sure there's no bites. Fine, you can get in. I think Lazaro's best line was like, they call me the Normandy Butcher.
Oh, yeah, because I worked at a Normandy restaurant.
I used to mince the steaks at Normandy restaurant.
Yeah, he's ridiculous. I love when he was like to the army guy, I don't think you're doing a great job. And he just points to the zombie that's down at the end of the
What I
bench.
love about Lazaro is his zombie fighting getup. Is it's just a wetsuit that doesn't fit him.
It doesn't fit him at all.
Yeah.
And they're like kind of like cleavers or something that he has.
Yeah.
It's
Like,
his butchering tools.
yeah, I guess. Yeah, it so doesn't fit him. But he's ready to strip it off at moment's notice.
I think that first zombie that comes out of the community meeting, when the fat guy zombie came, I'm like, is this the comic book guy from The Simpsons?
I know. And they're
Comic
all,
book
I
guy
don't
zombie?
remember his name, but they're all like, it's Eric or something.
Yeah,
Like,
they're
they're
like, that
like-
guy's such a pussy. Like,
I know.
this and
I'm
that,
like,
you're
he's
making fun of
clearly
him.
not okay. Like, y'all should run.
He's like, he's gone.
They were
through
just
some
like, all right,
stuff.
well, this will help everyone forget about those radios that she stole. Let's get out of here.
But they get on that truck and the guy turns. I love how like they're so inept. Everybody in this film is so inept because they all just keep getting bitten and bitten and bitten.
Well, you don't trust Lazaro with any sort of projectile weapon because he grabs the gun and shoots
the
and
driver.
kills the driver.
Yep.
And they'll look at him like, really?
Mm-hmm. And Tina does not escape that truck without a bite.
I mean, China. Called her
China.
Tina.
I thought
You
I
said China.
said
Was it
China.
China?
Yeah, China. Because they call her that in the movie, don't
Latina.
they?
That's how you
Yes.
speak. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I could see that coming too, because when you see her kind of like being a little lethargic, like, oh,
Oh, yeah. She's like, stop yelling, Juan.
yes,
Stop
like,
yelling.
it was like someone got bit.
And then, like, they sit down, and it was right in her thigh. Nobody wants to be bit there.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to be bit there. But, yeah. So she turns, and I love that scene because it's so slapstick. It's like a dancing scene. They're just,
Yes.
like, dancing around the top of the roof.
I put Sheena and Juan dance, and then it made me think of the Goofy movie where he says everybody mambo, but I'm going to call it everybody zombo.
Everybody's zombo.
dancing
Dun,
with the
dun, 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 dun. Yes. I love it. And then even as all the people are getting bit and turning and the streets are just deserted, the news is still saying, go back to your daily
We're
lives.
fine. Everything's fine.
Your government wants you to know you can return to your daily lives. It's fine.
There's nothing to see here. Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain.
And then the
Everything's
next
fine.
day, the news goes down and the last anchor
Yeah,
is eaten.
it's-
And
yes.
yeah. I love when they're like, okay, we're going to get out of here. Let's go get a car. And they find that car and it's like, it's got a zombie in it. Their first choice has a zombie in it. So they're like, well, fuck this car. And they go to the next one. And it doesn't start. And it takes forever to start. And then it just dies immediately.
Yes. Again, just up to this movie, you know little things were going to happen. You're like, that car's either going to run out of gas or it's going to die. I'm like, oh, yep, it did.
Yeah. And then the preacher shows
I
up.
know. I love how Juan is like, fucking Russians send this piece of shit car.
Yeah.
This and this and that. Like,
I know. He's so funny. He's just bitching. And I love when they all get in the car and he's like, none of you can drive.
Yes.
yeah, that was another thing too. They're
Yeah.
all like looking around, like, I don't know.
I love. He's like, we're gonna have words later. Obviously, this is not the time, but later we are
Like,
gonna have a
later.
talk. But the preacher comes. I like the preacher. And was he supposed to be like Australian or British?
I don't know.
Or
He definitely had some sort of an accent.
He
wasn't
did.
Wait,
American.
we skipped El Primo's death because this was before Preacher, before they
yeah.
met their untimely death. Because they were trying to find places.
Where
because
the fuck were they going? They were
They were
looking
going
for
to,
a
like-
car, or they were doing something to try and get out of there.
they were trying to get out of there, and they said, okay, plan C was to go to the bunkers.
Yeah.
to the bunkers. That's right. And then Primo breaks the lock.
The lock.
Without even looking inside, which is
Yes.
a rookie move in
I
zombie
know.
apocalypse.
That's his own fault.
Even
well,
like,
well, he was blindfolded half the fucking time anyway. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I mean, he wasn't gonna make it.
There
If he-
were a couple times though that I did like when they told him, he's like, you may want to put your blindfold on.
Yeah.
You're not gonna like this.
And I love how it's just like a normal contract. Like, okay, my blindfold goes on. You guys just like
Just follow.
direct me around. That's what I'm doing. So, yeah.
Yeah, but then we get the preacher who gets introduced in a pretty badass way.
Yeah, he does. I love his little, I will kick ass for the Lord.
Yeah, that's the other thing I was wondering too. Is when I looked at it, I looked at Kim, I was like, I know he's speaking English, but it doesn't sound like he's speaking
I'll
very
kick ass
good.
for the Lord.
Yeah.
very
it was
weird,
like,
like-
it
Like
was
not
a,
very good English.
it was a weird accent. So I was like, I can't place where he's supposed to be. But yeah, the harpoon with when it goes into the thing
Yes.
and just takes all their heads off. I'm like, they wouldn't have gotten out of the way quick enough because they were pretty slow. But yeah, it was a cool zombie death wrap up.
Was it Ghost Ship? Remind me of that.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
The beginning of Ghost Ship.
Mhm.
Yeah, there was a lot of that. So I kick ass for the Lord. I don't know if it's inadvertently or they did this on purpose, because they already, obviously, the "Come with me if you want to live" is from T2.
Yeah.
But that is a line from the movie is called Brain Dead. It was by Peter Jackson, and there's a priest that comes in and kills, like, they're like zombies or something. So he says, "I kick ass for the Lord." And, like, so yeah, I don't know if that was another line that they, on purpose did that. So maybe the writer was just a fan of American movies. Who knows?
Preacher reminded me of Harvey Keitel's character in From Dusk Till Dawn.
I could see that.
Yeah, a little bit.
He just felt Australian to me. The hat.
He might
It
have
was
been.
the hat
It
and the
was.
little GP hat. I'm like, all right,
Yeah.
Australian.
Well, he
so we're
found
just
the
gonna
Jeep
go.
there. So.
And then again, fucking Lazaro does the dumbest thing ever.
See,
Kills him.
I didn't like that one. I'm like, you dipped into that, I'm going to say 4 times now. So that's
Yes.
too many times. rule of 3 applies to comedy.
I loved that whole scene though when he's trying to speak his broken English to him.
And he's about to tell him the plan.
Yes.
Yeah.
How are you?
Yes. How are you?
We're good.
We stop. How do we stop?
Outside, we stop.
Yes. I loved it. It's like, that's all the English I know.
Yes.
I don't know anymore.
What is it? He tells him a few things. He tells him his name. He has like a whole little spiel, and it's like that's the only stuff you would ever learn from school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was very remedial.
like year 1 kind of stuff.
Yes.
That's pretty much all he knew.
Yeah. And then like the harpoon goes off. And Lazaro.
And he yells at him. He's like, he had a fucking plan.
I know, he gets so mad. Juan's like, I'm gonna go think of a plan now. Like, he just walks off. And then Lazaro's like, goes and shows. It wasn't a bite. It just looked like a scratch to me.
It looked like 2 scratches on his arm.
Yeah.
So that's why I was like, is he actually bit? Or like, what the fuck? Well, it turns out, we come to find out he wasn't at all.
But I love how Juan starts asking him questions. And he's like, oh, you're such a pain in the ass. Wait until I'm dead, all right? Just wait.
I find it funny that the whole thing was like, just don't hit my face.
Nobody's ever hit my face.
And the first thing he does is hit him right in the fucking
He
forehead.
does, yes. He hits him right in the forehead. I love his little, can I give you a blowjob gag?
I just want to taste.
It's just like,
That's what he's
Like, just
Yeah.
his line is like, I just want to taste it. I'm
Yeah.
like, oh,
Well, he
no.
starts with the whole thing. He's like, there's something I got to tell you that I've never told you before, and I feel like I got to say it. He's like, I love you. He's like, yeah, I love you too. He's like, no. You don't get it.
I love
He's like,
you.
I love you.
I love you.
It's just kid stuff. Let me give you a blowjob real quick.
And then Juan seriously is like, damn it. He's like thinking about it. He's like, come on.
It's like, fine, nobody's going to know anyway.
He's like, you'll be dead anyway. And then freaking Lazaro.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm not letting anybody go down on me and give me a blowjob when they're hypothetically becoming a zombie.
That's, yeah.
Plus, when's the last time anybody took a bath or a shower?
Exactly. It's
I
been a
know.
while.
This whole
And
movie.
Lazaro doesn't look
Clean.
like the cleanest. His mouth got something.
The thing that was funny too is when he finally
Herpes.
there's like, I just want to see the sunrise one last time, and then all of a sudden he just drops his head, and I looked at him. He's like, he fell asleep, and then whack! Ow!
Yep. And then he was like, "Are you sure you got bit?" He's like, 30%. 30%, sure.
Yeah. Guess we'll find out.
But then
soon.
they hatch their next plan of
So
building
what
an
would have-
amphibian car.
What would have happened if Lazaro really thought he was dying? I mean, I don't know. He really did think he was dying, obviously. But if he really thought he was dying and he really did want to give Juan a blowjob, like that would have been just awkward the next day. Like, you didn't die. I only let
Like,
you
speak nothing of
I
this.
only let you do that because I thought you were dying.
Now, the one thing I read on the trivia, did you read any of it, Paul?
A few things.
Did you read on what the preacher's plan was?
I did, actually.
Ooh, what was it?
Well, so his plan was that they were going to storm the museum where Castro kept his yacht.
Oh,
They were going to steal that and take that to Miami.
that's a solid plan.
There's no other boats anywhere else. They had to go to this museum to steal it.
Or maybe he just wanted a big,
That's what it was.
This,
It's
supposedly,
big militarized
it's
yacht
a
or
big
something.
yacht from Castro, whatever it need to be. So it was some sort of important thing. So they wanted to go steal that and take it to Miami.
and just hope. I mean, they do kind of talk about. They ask, like, do you think everywhere else is like this?
That scene between Juan and his daughter, when she's like, "You think mom's okay?" I'm like, "This is the time where you're supposed to lie to your child." Like,
Yeah.
she's fine.
She's fine. I bet it's not even that bad over
Because
there.
even when she's like, "Do you think we'll get out of it?" He's like, "Yeah." Like, he doesn't really say anything. He just kind of like pats her head, and I'm like, "All right, geez,
I know.
that's not what she's looking for."
And it's
man.
very annoying because the whole movie he's been like, we just need a chance.
We just need a
Until
chance.
now,
We'll be
until your
fine.
daughter just needs you to
Yes.
say, we
Yeah.
just need a chance. You
Yes.
can't do it. Come on, Juan. Come on.
There's a reason that he's a lonely guy with no family.
Yes.
Okay.
And shitty friends.
And
Yes.
cut off jorts and con.
Oh, but they have to go build a human raft, or no, a human ramp.
Yes.
Well, first they have to defeat the humans to make the ramp.
Yes, the undead humans.
At that point, I thought, okay, because you get to that little square where there's nobody around. Like, I thought it was like, okay, everything's dead, so now they're gonna just have the island to themselves. That's where I thought the movie was gonna go. So when he starts making all that noise, like nothing's showing up, and then they finally all wake up. I'm like, oh, okay,
I know, and if they're just asleep like that and they're like dormant, just go up to them and like
yeah.
stick them in the head.
But then you got to move them yourself. So what's the point? Work smarter, not harder.
I guess. Well, in that
dragging a bunch
situation,
of
I just
bodies.
meant if you were trying to clear the
Hey,
island, you could do it while they were dormant.
These guys know how to get shit done.
Yeah, that's
doing
true.
the least amount of work
The least
that
amount
you need to do. Okay.
Yes, I like the little ramp though. I'm not sure how well it would have worked because again, those
I
are
don't think
decomposing bodies,
yeah.
and I don't think they would have stayed too solid.
I think the thing would have just hit it and like just spun a
Smack
bunch
right
of
into it.
shit around.
Yeah.
And just been like caught in the mud basically.
Yeah. Ugh.
And then we hear the kid from the beginning of the movie asking
Oh, yeah.
for help.
Because his dad comes after
Dad's
him,
better than you.
Yes.
and then that's where you get the
spigot to the ass.
the spigot straight up the ass.
Yes.
Oh,
So can that zombie ever get up?
I don't think
Because you'd have to get straight up.
yeah,
You can't just
yeah.
sit forward
he
and get up.
probably, I would guess at some point he would decompose so much that where if he just leans forward, it would just rip through.
Yeah.
But that would be
Yeah.
a long time.
Yeah.
Mm.
Especially he was a pretty hefty zombie, too.
He was a hefty
They got
zombie.
nowhere to go.
Yeah.
Everything's fine. Back to normal.
Back to normal. Go about your daily lives. It's fine.
Oh, the one thing we skipped on is how much of a badass his daughter was.
Oh, yeah. Because when they come back from being naked,
Yeah.
it appears that some zombies had gotten into the rooftop.
Yeah,
Because
and
there's like arms hanging off the
Yeah.
gate and shit.
And he's worried because he can't find her, and all of a sudden she comes out of nowhere and starts.
With a throwing star that first time, isn't it? Doesn't
Yeah,
she throw the star?
she throws the star on that one, and then she does that flip thing onto the zombie's shoulders. And
She does the Black Widow move, as I
yeah,
would have called it.
yeah, that's basically.
And
what it
when
was.
she did that, I was like, no. It's getting like
It's
zombie
getting too
mouth.
close.
I
yes.
know it's
Too
that,
close to your inner thigh.
There's that, and then there was a part where Lazaro like grabbed the jaw of a zombie and
Yeah,
ripped it. I'm
and
like,
ripped
no,
it down,
like
yeah.
wait, why?
Stay
Like,
away from the mouth. That's the no-no area. That's where you don't
just-
want.
Yeah, like in any zombie situation. I mean, again, we're assuming because it's all
Yeah.
fictional bullshit. And we're
Yeah.
basing it off of movies, but yeah, just stay away from the mouth.
The mouth
completely.
area.
You know,
That's where the bacteria is. That's going to turn you to zombie. So you stay away from that area.
Yes.
Like, I mean, even if Lazaro cut his hand on the tooth, basically,
I mean,
right?
Who knows?
Like,
Why
yeah.
take the chance?
Yeah.
Unless you've got those fucking gloves that'll survive anything.
Yeah, think of it
Fillet
as
gloves.
a snake. You have to hold it around the neck so it can't bite you.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you got to do. And just avoid the mouth.
Maybe they need to see more zombie movies in Cuba.
Maybe.
They don't know. They don't know.
I don't know. I don't know much about Cuba except they
either.
have delicious sandwiches.
The one thing I was wondering
Maybe.
about Cuba is like, how big is that island? Because he just focused on that one part of it.
Havana, basically.
Who knows? I don't know.
The shots, though, and for it being such a low budget, or we assume very independent, the wide shots they got of like the ocean against the city, I was like, okay, well, Cuba's very pretty.
I would
Oh my
imagine
God.
it would be, but it's just like, I mean, we don't know a whole lot about it, so I imagine it's a
Yeah.
beautiful country
Yeah.
because it is in the Caribbean.
Yeah, apparently it's just had a lot of economic disasters.
Yes.
And when we hear that, nobody's doing real well right now.
So then we get the what the hell you want to call it? A car boat or whatever the hell it is?
The
Aqua
amphibian boat, yes.
Amphibian
That they basically just put pontoons around
boat? Yes.
They made pontoons
Yes.
out of
barrels.
oil barrels.
Yeah.
It makes it to the water because their plan is to go to Miami, and Juan decides he's staying.
He's staying. He decides that's all he knows.
At first, I thought he got bit or something.
That's what
when
I
he was
thought, too.
fighting the dad. And I
Yeah.
was like, because I was gonna be like, all right, you can see it coming. It's
Yeah.
blah blah blah. Like it happens. Yeah, you knew there was gonna be something. But when he's just like, nope, I'm just gonna stay. I'm like, all right, well, that's just kind of dumb. I get it. You want to stay, but you're just gonna die then.
Yeah.
There's that stupid thing about how, I survived this, I survived that.
I
gonna
can't
survive
leave
this.
Cuba. Like, but you can.
And
Yeah,
then
but
he-
I'm like,
yeah.
but the 5 or 6 of you, or however many there were, like you guys couldn't make it together.
Yes. Yeah.
You know, like what the fuck are you gonna do by yourself? now?
Yeah.
Yeah, like, what makes you think that you're going to be able to fight off all these zombies on your own?
Maybe he was just ready to die. Maybe he's like, the world is
know
a
what?
better place without me.
He saw
He-
his daughter make it,
Yeah.
technically.
He was really afraid of having to work.
Yeah.
Is really
Yeah.
what
He
it
was just like, I'm out. I don't want to go to America.
He
and
even
work.
has that line to
In the
Lazaro.
beginning.
He's like, "What are you gonna?" No, when Lazaro and was it the beginning?
Yeah,
I thought it was
in the beginning.
Lazaro and the other chick Sarah were going. He's
No,
like,
they were
what are you
in
gonna do? Work?
No, it was in the
Work all
beginning.
day or something? Yeah.
It was in the beginning when you see him on this boat. And
Yeah, that's right.
Lazaro's-
Because
yeah.
Lazaro has that line. He's like, "You ever think about just keep going until we get to Miami or whatever?"
And he's like,
So
no,
what are you
because
gonna
then I
do,
have to
work all
get-
day.
It's like, no, because then I'd have to work.
Yeah.
Screw that.
I mean, I get it. I would, if my life could be just drinking rum on a rooftop all day, I'd consider it.
And he had a shit ton of bottles.
I know
Did
he
he
made a
have-
whole wall.
Yes.
Did he have a place to live, or was he just living
I
on the
think he lived on
rooftop?
the roof.
Like, I don't know.
Yeah,
what,
I thought he
like,
just lived on the roof with Lazaro.
His situation was there, because I'm like, at first I'm like, all right, this is where they just hang out, but I'm like, wait, he's got a phone up there. He's
I
got
think he
Yeah.
lived on the
like,
roof.
was there just like a weird shack where he slept in or something? It never
Maybe.
really showed where he lived, like just the rooftop hangout, basically.
Yeah, pretty much. But like maybe he just gets drunk and that's how he stays warm.
I
And
guess. Well, I know.
Now, are you taking the credits as any sort of canon to the film? Because
See,
what?
that confused me
yeah,
as well.
I
Yeah.
was saying no, and I just thought maybe it's just like a nice
There
little
was-
comic
yeah.
book wrap up
Yeah.
kind of a thing. I don't think that. I mean, why would you build that boat and then turn around and come back?
I know, and
Yeah.
because it doesn't make sense too. Because I'm like, is the kid just on the boat by himself now?
Yeah,
Like,
just,
you
they're
just
like,
leave
keep
the
going, kid.
Like,
Just keep
you'll
going.
make
all
it.
right, well, never mind. They can't say no to you. Just go.
Yeah,
Good luck, kid.
Just show up on the beach. They'll let you in.
yeah. Well, actually, technically, no. We all remember in Alien Gonzalez.
Yeah, they didn't want people in.
Yeah.
But that was Juan of the Dead. I really liked this one. It was I always like seeing foreign films because, especially foreign horror films.
You
because,
see their take on horror.
Yeah, and you never know like what other places find creepy or scary, because like we have a whole backstory and lore and
Yeah.
stuff, kind of like an American,
It's
horror.
kind of a taste of their fears.
Yeah.
Like the societal or not societal, it was cultural fears. That are
Yeah,
different or
and they're
whatever.
always interesting. Foreign films are always at least interesting, and they always have great stories. This one
think-
was a generic zombie storyline,
Yeah.
though, to me, but it was really interesting seeing
But
it set in Havana. Even.
I think
Yeah.
even from our point of view, like it's kind of interesting just to watch this and to see like what are some of the things that they would have to kind of factors that they would have to put up with in a zombie outbreak that we wouldn't
Yeah.
have to necessarily or
Yeah.
think about. Because another thing too is thinking about this whole thing, and I'm like, they're on a fucking island, man. And I know it's a big island or whatever, but I mean, still, like you're on a fucking island. Like,
Yeah.
there's
Well, I think
nowhere to
even
go.
Lazaro at one point says the only way out is always the ocean. Like
Yes.
there's
Yeah,
there's
like,
nowhere
there's-
out.
Oh, the other thing we were
in
talking
the
about
ocean.
too was going to the mountains.
Yeah.
And I think even then, like you're still on a fucking island.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where else you can go? The mountains, or you get the fuck out of Cuba.
And I mean, does Cuba have everything that a person would need? Like once trading and anything
I
stopped
know-
coming to the island,
I
like
know they have rum and cigars. So
Yes.
the
and
special,
Cuban sandwiches,
the special period they had to eat
cats.
cats and
Mm.
everything. I read a little bit about that, and apparently during the special period. Is that
Yeah,
what
that's
it was
what he called
Yeah,
it.
they
Yeah.
call it the special period.
there was like a food famine
Mm.
because the fall of Russia, who used to export to them a lot,
Yeah.
Yes.
so they were like hunger
Hunger
deprived and scarce food and all that. So they enacted like you'd get 10 years if you murdered a cow.
Wow.
If you ate illegal meat, it was like 3 years in prison. Like it was crazy shit like that. Like you couldn't kill stuff, to feed people. And
Talk about communism.
Yeah,
Shit.
no.
so yeah, like, it was pretty crazy. So yeah, they know how to survive apparently.
Yes, they do.
Apparently, maybe
So
that's
you got to put up with that. You got to put up with the government shit and like the government telling you zombies aren't real. Just go back to work.
Go back to work. Go take the public transit. It's fine. It's good.
The buses are running on time. You're fine.
It's like they're not zombies. They're
But there's no tourists.
incidents.
Hey, there were. I don't want to get political. Just stay away from.
So that was One of the Dead.
One of the Dead, the continuation of our April Fool's horror comedy month. Next week we are coming back with 8-Legged Freaks.
I am
Starring
so
David
looking
Arquette.
forward to this movie because I have many, many, many fond memories of this movie.
I just saw today, actually, Scream Factory is putting out a Blu-ray release of 8-Legged Freaks.
Did they?
Oh,
shit.
nice.
It's coming out soon, I think.
I
I think
just-
in May, if I remember correctly.
I just bought the DVD of it, but I have very good fond memories, and I'll talk about this next week because I'm excited about it.
Did you used to go to Valley West Mall?
Yes.
Yeah, we're gonna have a ton of discussion about that.
I didn't grow up here, so I don't know
yes.
them all. And my sisters were into 8-Legged Freaks, and I was older than them, so it was always like, it's got a kids thing. So I never watched it. So I've seen bits and pieces of it, but I've never seen all of it. So this will be a first time watch through for me.
Yeah, I think this one's gonna be a lot of fun. I haven't watched it in a very, very long time.
I do know
It's
that there are large spiders. in
well
David
over a
Arquette.
decade, probably.
It's been like that to me too, and when I see it again, it's probably just going to unlock a ton of like personal nostalgia.
Probably. But that'll be next week, and we have one more after that?
We haven't decided on what that one is yet, have we?
No, we haven't.
Okay, so if you guys have suggestions for anything comedy related, give us a suggestion for a horror movie.
Horror comedy
Horror
for
comedy.
the month of April.
Yes, we need our last one for the month of
If
April.
no one gives us a suggestion, I think we need to do Exorcist as a horror comedy.
As a horror comedy.
So like, yeah, here's the funny part. Yeah.
Or we could do which horror comedy did the best Exorcist.
There you go.
Either way, we'll figure
Okay.
something out. Don't worry, guys. We have content. Don't worry.
Yes.
We will figure something out.
Juan of the Dead is currently on Stars if you're looking to watch it, which give it a shot. It's a fun movie. It's got some laughs.
It's an interesting take
Yes.
on zombie from Cuba, and it's any foreign film is worth seeing just to see their point of view.
Yes.
So go watch it. We will see you guys next week. You can always like, share, subscribe, rate us, give us a review. We love you guys. Make sure you follow us on the Twitters, Facebooks, and Instagrams. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, you can email us at podcast@scarynerd.com. Head over to scarynerd.com for more horror entertainment news.
Joe Bob is coming back on April 16th, this coming Friday. If you are a Shudder subscriber, we usually join the live tweets that happen on Twitter, so follow us on Twitter, tweet along. I just heard today they're going to have Eli Roth as a guest on the show.
Huh.
So that might be interesting. Talk about this crappy movie.
Yes, and this isn't a paid advertisement. We genuinely just like Shudder and Joe Bob. So,
Yes.
but if Shudder, if you want to pay us to say that, we'll take it.
We will
Yes.
take your. I'll even take a subscription.
Yeah, anything.
Just
Yeah.
whatever you want to get.
Free stuff.
I already paid.
Free
it,
stuff.
yeah.
But anyway, guys, we will see you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.